Welcome, my name is Alexandra, and this is your Finger Cymbals 101 video. I'm going to go over the behind the scenes of what finger cymbals are and my advice on what to know when you're buying them and if you get really interested in them. I'm also going to go over a few patterns to play them before you watch the other videos about dancing and playing finger cymbals at the same time. Now, finger cymbals are instruments. They look like props sometimes to belly dancers, and they can be, but really they're instruments. So you're going to find a variety of finger cymbals from different metals to different sizes to different qualities. Some cymbals are made for musicians and some cymbals are made for dancers. I'm mostly going to be talking to you from a dancer's perspective, but if you ever see a workshop with a musician that is teaching finger cymbals for belly dance, do it, take it. It's good to see and to hear and learn what the musician's perspective is. Now, a brief history of the cymbals. I won't get too much into it, but I'll provide some links for you to read more. But the finger cymbals are a very ancient instrument. They go back to the Bronze Age, 3000 BC, and they have a history and a timeline to their evolution. So the way that we play them today, the cymbals that we see today are not the same as ancient times, but we have some beautiful styles and modern variations of this instrument. Let's get into what I have here. I have 3 types of finger cymbals for you to see. I just got new ones in, so you're also gonna see me actually fit these on my fingers and sew them and what I like to do when I adjust them to my fingers. There is a fantastic company that I use, that I've always used, and they're called Cymbals. You can find them online. They've been around for years, and that is a company that my advice is to go look at. And when I go and search for cymbals, I trust that website because number 1, their longevity, and number 2, their professionalism, and number 3, their knowledge. They have a variety from professional to student grade. They also have sound clips that you can hear the instrument themselves. And man, there's just so many options on there. I can't even begin. Definitely check out Cymbals.com. The ones that I already have fitted are called Nefertiti, and they are silver. So today I have silver and I have brass so that we can test them out. At least the brass ones, I love them, but you'll hear the sound of both and there is a difference. Before I get to adjusting and the tips that I have for you, note that there is a difference between cymbals for musicians and for dancers. The musicians are going to have heavier cymbals and different values and qualities. Their perspective is more musical, where ours is more movement. There's more dance involved when dancers play. So we tend to use more of basic patterns for Arabic rhythms versus more intricate patterns. And that's what my goal is, to teach you at least the base so that you can go off and be creative. As dancers, I always give the tip that we're meant to enhance the music, not overpower it. Arabic music is very intricate, and the cymbals are more there to add a little bit of sparkle to the music, and if you're dancing with them, add a little bit of sparkle and glitter to your dancing and to your playing. So take that in mind as one of my first tips and advice for when we're dancing and playing with them. We're just here to enhance the music, not to overpower it. Musicians will give us a little more extra as to learning about musicality, counting, various ways to maneuver the hands and the cymbals. And it's just another beautiful world out there when a musician is teaching you how to play the cymbals. But when we're dancing with them, it can be a little overwhelming to understand the music, what patterns we're playing, and the coordination that comes with the dancing itself and the movements of the body and isolations, traveling in turns, all that beautiful jazz, right? My next advice is when you're choosing cymbals, if you have not taken a class where you've tried finger cymbals before, I recommend that you purchase some that are smaller and lighter. And I'm going to show you here. I just got these for my students. These are brand new. I restocked for my beautiful ladies. So I have a new set of cymbals. They are smaller, they're lighter, and I recommend these for if you've never played them before and you're not sure what you're going to get from the experience of playing. So they're the size of my palm. They're smaller, actually, and they're very light and a little bit curved. So it's a little bit cupped here. These are fantastic for practice and for starting out. If you have played cymbals before and you want to get into them a little bit more, you want to dance and practice and learn more of the musicality part, then I recommend that you do try the professional or the semi-pro finger cymbals because they're going to last you forever. And they are instruments. So there is a difference for when you're using a high quality instrument versus using a lower quality instrument that's just maybe there for practice or for playtime, right? But if you really are interested in it, I recommend those. You can go for the smaller professional sized ones. These are the Nefertiti. They are also, there's another favorite of mine called the King Tutankhamun ones. They're similar. They come, at least in Saroyan, they come in silver and in brass. So that's fantastic that you get the option of the metal types because they are going to sound different. Or you can go for a larger cymbal that they are, sometimes they're heavier, sometimes they're not. Silver will be a heavier metal than brass. These right now feel almost the same. Don't be deceived by the size. It's the metal that's going to give it the weight and the quality. But these are a little flatter versus the Nefertiti ones. These are curved more, so they're going to give you a different sound, a higher pitch. The silver ones, because of the shape and because of the metal quality. These, the brass, are going to give you an earthier sound, so a lower vibration, and it also depends on the style of dance that you're learning. These I'm really excited to try because I have danced with other brass cymbals before, and they do give me a crispier kind of earthier tone, and I like that. It just really depends on you, what you're doing, the style that you're dancing, and the sound that you are aiming for. So at the end of the day, go with something that you're comfortable with, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'll help you a little bit more. We're now going to go into how to wear them, which includes how to fit them onto your fingers. So you wear them on your middle finger and your thumb over the first knuckle of each finger. We want to make sure that they're tight, but not incredibly tight, that your fingers turn purple right away. They do have to be somewhat gripped on so that when you do shake your hands or move your hands or turn, they're not going to fly off. So here are my suggestions. We're going to fit these new cymbals to the hands. Now this might take you a few minutes. I would say maybe 15 to 20 minutes. It really depends if you know how to sew, if you're comfortable with sewing or not. I'm not very comfortable with sewing, so I will put a movie on or a podcast or something that I can listen to in the background so that this is more enjoyable and it flies and it moves quicker. We're going to lay out the 4 cymbals, and because our hands are not the same size, or fingers are not the same size, you could or could not choose two different colors of string to sew. So let's say if I did choose two colors, I would maybe do yellow for my middle fingers and purple for my thumbs. And I would go with the color coordinated cymbals. Saroyan will bring the elastic for you. And this is really good elastic. This is good quality. We don't want to waste it. So here's what I recommend. The first cymbal that you choose, you slide it in the first slot underneath on the bottom of the cymbal. Pull it over the second slot. Then take whichever finger that you are adjusting and make sure that it's nice and tight, like so. And I do this because I don't want to waste elastic. And it's better to sew the cymbals versus tying them because we don't want any extra fabric while we play to muffle any sound. If you do tie them, chances are that knot or the double knot is going to start to undo itself, and then that cymbal will just fly off. Protect yourself while you're dancing and playing, and sew your finger cymbals. So once I have that, I move it around, I make sure it's good. What I will do is keep, not too much, just keep enough. I use my nails or I use a pin to grab on to where it's nice and tight at the very end or bottom of that cymbal. Let this go. Bring this closer to me. I take note of where this is, and I start to sew in and out and in and out and in and out. Okay? So let's get this going. We are done with these. So you have a little bit of extra fabric, maybe for one more finger, which is great because you just never know. But Saroyan Cymbals does sell extra elastic, I believe, where you can buy it or find it at a local sewing store. Now let's try these new babies on. I'm so excited about this. Oh my gosh, how special it is to film this first. Oh, there's one that is for my thumb. Well, that's okay. It's a little loose. Gosh, they feel so cool. Oh yeah, they sound so different from the silver ones. So before we get there, before I show you both quality cymbals, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit before we get going of how to start warming up your hands to play, because it's really important. Your hands are very small. They have very small crevices, little small spaces and muscles. You've got to get the circulation to your hands, okay? We don't want any accidents or injuries for your hands. So before you pick them up, Open and close your hands, warm up your hands. These are a few ways that you can do this with me. Open and close, wiggle the hands, shake them off. You'll also need to activate the rest of your arms and your shoulders and your upper back and posture. It's just going to help you with your practice. So have the full upper body awake. You can do circles, shoulders, wiggle, shake off, anything at all. Squeeze your hands, get the circulation and blood flow. Once you're warm, before you put the cymbals on, bring your hands down, release your fingers, and make sure that at least the fingers are close together. You're going to want to pretend you're playing the cymbals. So air play, air finger cymbal play, finger cymbal air play. Let's pretend you're playing them like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we don't want to press too far down. We don't want too much pressure when we're striking the cymbal. We want to be relaxed. We want not a lot of resistance here because these muscles, since they're so small, they're going to get tight very quickly. The hands are also an area of the body where we hold a lot of tension and a lot of stress. So if you're the type of dancer when you see yourself in videos, the hands start to flare out and curl and open and the pinkies flare, this means that we're not being mindful of the hands, the forearms, your upper back. We want to stay mindful that this is where we want to release energy out of, and we want to be relaxed and activated. So pretend you're playing them. This is also a really good tool. This is also a really good practice tip to air cymbal play. If you don't have them, you want to play and you want to practice at work, somewhere else where you are not actively practicing your cymbals and you just want a minute to be like, okay, I got to practice my triples. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just doing this alone without the cymbals is a fantastic practice tip. Let's get these back on and let's look at the basic ways to play the cymbals. With our hands relaxed, we are going to look at 4 ways to play the cymbals. There are many ways, but these are the 4 basic ways. Number 1 is striking. I'll show you on this hand. Striking means that you're going to open the cymbal and let the wavelengths emit and spread. We don't want to strike too hard because we don't want those muscles to get tight. So striking means opening. All right. The second way is closing or clamping. You're just going to hold the sound, close the cymbals together. See how I'm keeping my fingers close to each other and we're not going to strike and open wide. So no wide mouths. Very close, keep them close together. You could start here. The third way, which the third and the fourth way I learned from Karim Nagy. He's a fantastic musician, teacher, multimedia artist. And I learned these years ago. They're called ticks and talks. And that's our third and fourth way. The ticks, we are going to bring the 4 fingers on top, bring our hands like this, keep those fingers close, the thumb underneath, and make a letter T. This works well when the cymbals are wider like this and more flat. Doesn't work as well with smaller cymbals or more curved cymbals. You can still do it, but it works better with the more flat style cymbals. Tick, 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 tick. Now the talks. Flip your hands, thumb goes above. You're still going to make another letter T. So these are ticks, talks. I'm not sure if you hear it on the recording, but there's a slight change in the tone from the ticks and the talks. The tick is more higher pitch, the talk is lower. So those are 4 basic ways to play them. I'm going to add a 5th one. Like I said, there's so many ways that you can play these cymbals, but I'm going to add this 5th one because when you use a shimmy or something that has more of like reverberation, you can bring these cymbals close together, keep them close, and go. Or bring them down and shake. And you'll see, you don't want to let them go. Practice that. I'm not the best at that one, but I have seen it before. It's really cool. It's beautiful. You can also swivel them. It's a little more creative ways to play them. But again, these are just your basic ways. So we've got the clear strikes, the closes, the ticks, the tucks. Let's leave it with those 4 for now. My next tip for when you're playing the cymbals is to keep the fingers close, right? But also to not strike too harshly. I mentioned it, but we want to just look at that tip again. So when we're doing the strikes, the openings, you'll feel if you have better quality cymbals that you can lift the volume, you can make it higher, you can lower the volume when you're playing the cymbals. So if you are striking really hard, it's going to sound louder. Versus when you bring the cymbals closer and you're still striking and opening, it's going to sound quieter. Now let's look at the closes. When you're playing the cymbals, think about how strong you are striking or closing or doing the ticks and the tucks, because that's going to change the volume of the cymbals. So let's do an example here with the strikes with the openings. I'm going to be very strong with how I play them, and the volume is going to get high. Right? Very loud, but you're going to be able to conserve more energy and play more efficiently when you are not striking so strongly with your hands. So let's try the strikes again, changing the volume. I'm going to close them a little bit. And okay, hopefully the sound went through. You heard the volume, so play with that. So for the silver, I'm going to do the same strikes, closes, ticks, and tucks. These are very nice for dancing because they're smaller and they're easier to maneuver around in case you're also needing to grab the wings of your sticks or you're doing multi-prop performances and you need smaller cymbals. I highly recommend these. They're smaller than the size of your palm. Okay, these are the silver. One more thing before we get to those patterns. If you are dancing at home, if you're practicing and you find that the sound is too loud and you want to quiet down your practice, I recommend you buy a pair or make them yourself mufflers for the instrument. These just wrap around the cymbal. These were made for me, but I do know that Saroyan Cymbals sells mufflers, and these are fantastic for when you don't want to make too much of a sound, but you just need to practice the coordination and the maneuvering of your hands. So mufflers are a really good tip. Let's get to the basic patterns. We have singles, doubles, triples, and quadruples. The first thing we're gonna do is talk about music. This is gonna be a crash course on counting music. For cymbals to sound good and for us to practice efficiently, we have to hear the beat of the sound of the song. So I like to explain the tempo. We're gonna call it the tempo as the heartbeat of the song. The tempo is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, boom, boom, boom. Okay? So for now, I'm going to keep a basic tempo going, and we're going to talk about the basic patterns. These are not rhythms, these are patterns. The singles are one strike per beat of the song, per beat of the tempo. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. For the hands, we're going to alternate from right to left. And we want to keep that alternating feeling because that'll give the hands a little bit of a break instead of going right, 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 right. Plus, along the way, you're going to learn rhythms accompanying Arabic rhythms. So you've got finger cymbal patterns accompanying Arabic rhythms, not rhythms accompanying rhythms. So we want to make sure that we are learning alternating the hands right and left, okay? Let's get in position. And we are going to go with semi-strikes with the tempo. One strike per beat. So 1, 2, 1, 2. One strike per beat. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is going at tempo. This is what we call going at tempo. Now, when we go slower than tempo, slower than the beat, that's called halftime. So if I have the tempo rolling 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, we have to go slower than that if you're going to go halftime. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and that's halftime. When you go double time, that is twice the speed of the tempo. So if I have the tempo at 1, 2, 1, 2, double time is going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we'll use the doubles for that double time speed. So we have singles at tempo, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we're going to use doubles to go double time for that tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? Now, I'm going to skip triples for a moment and I'm going to go to quadruples. Quadruples is 4 strikes to the beat. We syncopate it and we say it as 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. So I'm going to do a pause at the end of that pattern so that you have time to relax into the quadruples. It's going to sound like this: 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. One E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. Alternating right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, triples. Strike per beat, but the pattern is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and alternate right, left, right. And you restart again on the right. I left this for last because it is a little trickier to restart yourself with the right hand again. P.S. Side note, if you're a lefty, you could technically start left. There's no right or wrong there, but for general purposes, I'm going to go with the right hand. So it's going to be right, left, right, right, left, right. Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, that is what I call the triples dry. When I say, and this is a nickname, and this is why I say is because there is a triples where you start with a single and that shoots you off into the triples pattern. So it sounds like this. And we say it as 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That first single at the beginning, I call it a greeting. That's like your hello. When you're meeting someone, you don't go up to them and say, my name is so-and-so, right? That's like the dry effect. But if you add the greeting, if you add the hello, you say, hi, my name is 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So just for learning purposes, I add that in as a way to learn that single in front of the triples. So it goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And we'll use a pause at the end to restart again. Let's try together. And 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. So that was the singles, doubles, triples, and quadruples. Let's go over them again. We got singles, doubles, triples, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Quadruples, 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4. Singles, doubles. I messed that one up. All right. So let me play the silver for us so that you can hear a little bit of a difference. All right. With the silver, let's go through those patterns. We have singles, doubles, triples, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Quadruples, 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial here. If you have any questions at all, if you're curious about cymbals, let me know. Quick fun fact here. Finger cymbals are also called sagat in Arabic and zills in Turkish. So let me know if you're interested in the cymbals, the sagat, and the zills. And I hope you have a beautiful journey with these fantastic ancient instruments. Thank you for watching.